What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video of the Footballers Vida channel, in which today, you've seen the title, we are going to talk about it. Neymar Jr. potential return to Barcelona? What the fuck? Neymar Jr. potential return to wearing La Blaugrana colors. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this because this is something that really wasn't expected, really unexpected to be honest. But recently there's been news circulating that Neymar Jr.'s dream is to have a last dance wearing La Blaugrana colors, going back to Barcelona, playing in Europe yet again. And when I first read this, I'm like, okay, kind of sus to be honest. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there because apparently Laporta may be open to signing him again, and it will come down to Flick. What he decides, obviously, because he's the guy for us right now. So a lot of factors into his potential return, but we're gonna quickly talk about this. What I really think about this situation. What I think about Neymar's potential return to Barcelona, if it's gonna happen. I doubt it, but my opinion in general about it, and just talking about Neymar in general. But let me know now in the comments. What do you guys think? Would you guys accept Neymar back at Barcelona? Do you think it's the best choice for him in general, or is it just a dream that might never happen again? Would you like to see him have a last dance at Barcelona? Let me know in the comments below. And before we get into this, like, subscribe, favorite, hit the notification bell for every time we upload, share, and let's talk about this. As we all know, Neymar Jr. is currently playing for Santos after he made a free transfer from Al Hilal, where, let's be honest, his stint at Al Hilal just wasn't great because it was just constant injury problem for him, where he barely even played for them. He made little cameos for them, and with the amount of money that he was making, I think it was best for both parties that he left Al Hilal, and he made his return to his boyhood club Santos after he left them in 2013 when he joined Barcelona and made his presence known in Europe. And my, what a presence has he made in Europe, because he 100% can go down as the third best player of our generation. I 100% agree with that title. And I can even say for me as a Barcelona fan, we may all have different opinions, but I would say he's the best Brazilian to have ever played for Barcelona. Obviously, you can say Ronaldinho, maybe R9, Romario, whoever you prefer, but from the era that I grew up in, the generation that I come from, and the years and years that I've seen Barcelona, I can 100% say that it was Neymar for me. Neymar obviously left, at least for me, left a bitter taste when he left Barcelona for PSG in 2018 because of everything he achieved for us. He was 100%, still young, and he has so much more to offer us, us fans of Barcelona, and he was someone that we 100% wanted to keep. I don't think there's ever been a doubt in any Barcelona's fans' mind that we wanted him to stay at Barcelona. But when we saw the whole era of him wanting to leave and him making the transfer over to PSG, it all came down to one thing that crossed everyone's mind, was the money aspect of it. And I think that was 100% the answer to that question, right? Because everyone, was speculating what he left because he wanted to get away from Messi's shadow. He wanted to prove that he 100% can be the best player in the world, potentially win the Balloon d'Oro, because during that time it was just between Messi and Ronaldo. Messi, Ronaldo. Neymar was always just the third guy sitting back because he just wasn't at their level. But I think for me, and I think even from the recent interviews that he's come out and talked about it, he even said that it wasn't because he wanted to leave Messi's shadow. I think it was for other factors, and I'm pretty sure the other factors was to go make generational wealth at PSG, which I don't blame him for, because it's hard to reject that kind of money, especially when you don't come from money. So rejecting that kind of money is very difficult, but I still left a bitter taste in my mouth, to be honest. And even when he moved to PSG, no one can doubt that he was 100% still putting up levels, still showing why he was still one of the best players and why PSG paid that amount of money for him. Because even when Mbappe was there, I don't care what anyone says, he was still always the best player for PSG. When he was fit, when he was always playing, when he was just on it, he was the best player for PSG. I don't care how many goals Mbappe scored for PSG. Neymar was always the guy for PSG. The final they made, in the Champions League final that they made in 2020, he was the reason they made that final. It was all because of Neymar Jr. I don't really care about the amount of goals that Mbappe scored, because I think Neymar was always the spectacle for PSG, where what fans wanted to see, because he's just generational talent right there. He was a baller. But I think the main reason that the news is currently coming out that he potentially wants to make a move back to Barcelona is really for one thing and one thing only. What is literally around the corner? What is about to happen in a year's time? What is the biggest spectacle in world football that every player wants to represent their nation in? La Copa Mundial, the World Cup, ladies and gentlemen. The World Cup, the 2026 World Cup is literally around the corner, which is crazy to think because it just feels like it was just yesterday that Messi was holding up that trophy. But the World Cup is literally around the corner, and we all know that Neymar 100% wants to have a last dance there for Brazil to potentially win the World Cup for Brazil, potentially bring the sixth World Cup for Brazil. And I think we all know that this is 100% going to be his no, it's not even we all know. This will 100% be his last World Cup for Brazil. When it comes to Neymar's career for Brazil, it just hasn't been up to par with the caliber of player that he was for in Europe and for Barcelona and for PSG. Like the player that everyone considered the best player in the world, one of the best players in the world, the best player for Brazil for many, many years. He just wasn't up to par for what he succeeded for Brazil because the only really thing that at least I know of, I think he won other things, but I just the one thing that I like know of is the gold medal that he won and the Olympics for Brazil, which is obviously a great, great success, yes, but it just isn't to the level of a Copa America or a World Cup for Brazil, for the people of Brazil. When it comes to Neymar in these last tournaments in the World Cups and the Copa America, when it comes to the Copa America, he's only really made one final. Like the other ones that he's played him, he just they just haven't reached far far at all. Like the 2019 final, he didn't even play because he was injured. The 2021 final was the one, he was a great player in that tournament for Brazil. He won player of the tournament in that tournament. He was 100% one of the best players in that final. He was incredible too. And they ended up losing to Argentina. So for the Copa America, he hasn't done it. And then when it comes to the World Cup 2014, wow, he was a star in that tournament. But unfortunately, he came off with an injury that ended his tournament when they faced Colombia. And then the 2018 when they lost to Belgium 2-1, that's the golden age of Belgium back in 2018. They lost, and the recent win in 2022 where honestly it was just an embarrassment because that Brazil team losing that to Croatian side, because that Croatian side, it just wasn't the same as the 2018 side that we saw, and losing to them in penalties. And 100% you can blame Neymar for that too, because as the captain, as the star player, he should have stepped up to take a penalty, and for some reason he didn't. He I think he just wanted to wait for the last one to score the winning one and get the headlines and stuff. But you can 100% blame him for that. But at the same time, everyone was expecting Brazil to get to that final because they had an incredible squad, and the fact that they didn't and lost to that manner to Croatia was, I think, embarrassing. But yeah, when it comes to the big tournaments for nations, like he just hasn't done it for Brazil. So he 100% know that he's eyeing this last World Cup, his last World Cup, to try and bring that success, to be at the top echelon of Brazilian players that all succeeded that great feat. Because the main thing that he has all over the likes of Pele, R9, Ronaldinho, Romario, Garincha, what he has above all of them is just that he's the top goal scorer for Brazil, which is incredible. He's in the record books, but it's just not the same as lifting that World Cup trophy, bringing that huge honor for your nation, right? That Brazilians 100% strive for every tournament. Like they expect their team to perform, and they expect their team to at least reach the finals, because that's their tournament, because they're the team that has won it the most, right? So they expect these things. But in recent years, Brazil's team, the Brazil squad just hasn't done it. They haven't clicked to the level to bring that success to Brazil. Even in this last Copa America, they just weren't performing at all. They just did not look good at all. With the players that they have, you just expect something, right? Vini, Rodrigo, Rafinha. You expect something from these players, and they just weren't doing it. So, in the last one, Copa America, Neymar didn't even play, but the one thing that we've seen consistently through these couple years that from Brazil is that Neymar was the main guy for them. He was the one that really carried that team. He was the best player in that team. And I think most Brazilians can agree, I think maybe even every Brazilian can agree, that Neymar has to play in this next World Cup for Brazil to be successful. One of the things that I saw a while ago was that the president, I think the president of the Federation of Brazil, the soccer federation, said that they wanted to incorporate a lot more players from the Brazilian league. A lot of Brazilian players that played for their league, that already played for the in Brazil to represent the country, like back in the day, right? But let's be honest here, that's just not the same. It's just not going to bring you the same results as recruiting players from who are playing in the top level of football in Europe, like Vinicius Jr., like Rodrigo Rafinha, like the players I already mentioned. Like, to play at the highest level, to play and compete for the World Cup, you most likely are going to always call in the best players who are playing in the highest level of football already. Like, you're not going to call people who are potential, or already playing or playing in a low level. You want to call the highest level players so you have some type of chance to win it. And I think Neymar knows this. I think Neymar knows that him playing in Santos is just not going to bring him the same kind of level of competitiveness and potential to reach the highest level to compete in this next World Cup. Because as much as Neymar still technically may have it, skillfully may have it, we all know he still has that, great potential in him. It's not really going to show to the highest level playing in Santos in Brazil as it would be playing for Barcelona in Europe. So I think that's the main reason he may be eyeing a return to Barcelona. He may be eyeing a return to Europe because he wants to prepare himself to play in this next World Cup. That's my opinion. That's my opinion as to why he wants to have a final dance at Barcelona. I think the final dance he's really eyeing is a final dance in this next World Cup where, again, like I said, it's going to be his last World Cup. And for him to be able to compete in that next World Cup, he has to be playing high level football. And Santos, again, he's playing in Santos is just not nowhere near the same. Because when we look at these recent World Cup winners, the recent World Cup winners, the countries and the players individually too, they're all European based. Either they're a European country that won it, like Germany, like France, or the players that played that represented that country, like this recent one, Argentina, most of the players, if not all the players, already play in Europe. They already play in the highest level of football, which is 100% Europe. No one can deny that playing in Europe is the highest level of football that every player wants to reach. When we look at this Argentina side that won the 2022 World Cup, every single starter in that team played in Europe. Not a single one of them played for the Argentinian league or any other league that's not Europe based. Like, they all played in Europe because, again, that's the highest level. You always want to bring the players who already play in the highest level to be able to compete at the highest level. And Neymar knows this. He knows he has to prepare himself. And playing for Santos, he's not going to be able to do it. That's why, in my opinion, he wants to make a return to Barcelona because he just wants to, use it as a stepping stone to prepare to play in this next World Cup. Now, is it something that's liable? Is it something that's feasible for him to come to Barcelona? Mm, I'd say like 80-20, like 80-20, 80% no, 20 maybe potentially, because the main thing that Neymar, like, okay, here's my thing with Neymar. I think Neymar still has the potential of playing for Barcelona, no, for yeah, Barcelona and in Europe in general. I think he still has the ability to be playing the highest level. He's only 33 years old. He just turned 33. Like, that's not very old like unk level kind of like player that where he's done, he's finished. Like, we've seen players play at this highest level at this ages. Like Messi and Neymar, I mean Messi and Ronaldo were exceptions because they're two of the greatest players of all time, but even they've done it, right? They played at the highest level for many years in their 30s and in their mid 30s. So Neymar can do it too, but the main problem with Neymar is just injuries, right? Like, it's just injuries. Like, if Mohamed Salah is doing it at the highest level for Liverpool in the Premier League, Neymar's better than him. So I 100% know Neymar can do it, but the main problem with Neymar is his fitness level. That's been this problem throughout his whole career. Because I think no one can deny that if Neymar never suffered the injuries that he suffered, he would have gone down as the best player. Like, I don't even want to like say the best player of all time. No, best player of all time. No, but he would have been even maybe considered the best Brazilian of all time, 100%, because the potential that he had, the team that he was surrounded in multiple times, in Barcelona, maybe in PSG, and in Brazil too. Like, he could have won them with Brazil too, but maybe in 2014. But he would have achieved a lot more if injuries weren't an aspect in his career. But if he could stay healthy, if he could like not get consistently injured, I think Neymar has the potential of playing for Europe for another 2 to 3 years. 3 years max. Barcelona signed Lewandowski at 35 years old. He's still playing a high level. He's still scoring goals for us. He's still contributing a lot. Not at the level that we probably want. He's not the most entertaining to the eye, but he's still providing a lot for us, right? He's still providing a lot of goals. He's still providing moments for us where, he comes in clutch and moments. But so if he can do it, Neymar can do it too. But the matter is just staying fit. Lewa at least has the ability to stay fit because he really takes his fitness serious. He's a real professional. But Neymar, he's on and off when it comes to being a true professional, and his fitness level is just it's just a matter of luck at times too because he suffered an ACL injury recently, which really hindered him for a long time, and 100% slowed him down from the level we once saw from him. So it's just a matter of him having to stay fit, and if it's possible, if we were to guarantee, if we would got a message from God saying, yo, this guy will stay fit for another 2 or 3 years. He won't suffer long injuries. Like if he gets injured, maybe a knock here or two, but it won't be long prolonged injuries like he's had in the past. I would take him back at Barca because that the game is still most of the game is in here, and he has it in here, and he can still perform it at a high level. I still see that he can still do it. Now, again, it all comes down to his professionalism and how much he actually takes the game serious to, not only do it for himself for Barcelona, but then later on do it for Brazil. But I think he's mostly focused on Brazil. He mostly focused on him playing at a high level for Brazil rather than bring success to Barcelona again. Because again, he's 33 years old. He's already has all the money in the world to retire at this point, and not worry about a thing. But the main thing that's still lingering in his mind is get to that World Cup, win that World Cup, bring success to Brazil, that he hasn't brought, or was expected to bring, but he just hasn't done it. So, in my opinion, right now, bringing Neymar really wouldn't be a good choice, just because it'd be hindering a lot of our players who are very young, who are want the potential of starting, want these opportunities, and bringing Neymar in just would slow that down a bit. But at the same time, we don't really have a left winger, but playing Neymar as a left winger in Europe right now, probably not the best choice, just because he's not that explosive winger that we've seen in the past where he can take on a player with pace as much as he would with skills. Um, he's not the same. Like if he would come back to us, he would come back playing more as a 10, right? Playing more through the middle, like he has been doing for Brazil in recent years, and then Vinny on the left, or whoever else in the left. But I wouldn't take him back at Barca just because we need to focus on the future. We need to focus on players for the future. If we have to make signings in the summer, it has to be players for the future. That players that will be here into the future, not just here and now and then leave in a season or two, right? We need players that are going to bring success for Barca for many years. And Neymar's just not going to do that for us. Like again, the main problem is his fitness level and maybe a little bit of his professionalism. I think a lot of us can agree that he might not be the best role model in terms for the young players when it comes to professionalism, like the likes of Lewandowski. Lewandowski is a great professional. I think he, as much as he was a great signing for being a top level striker for us, is his level of professionalism that he inspires to the rest of the team. Like the way he's talked in interviews of how he wants to help the rest of the team, it just it's incredible because that's what these young players need. And I don't know if Neymar would really bring that aspect to them. Bring that encouragement that he should be doing as a senior player. But yeah, right now I wouldn't. It'd be a dream to have Neymar have a last dance for Barcelona, right? It'd be crazy to see. It'd be nice to see, but I would rather see Messi have a last dance before Neymar. To be honest, like I don't want. I would rather see that every day of the week. But Messi's never gonna come back, and I don't think Neymar should either. Like Luis Suarez, another one, should never come back. Like that guy, he can't even run anymore. But yeah, I think this news is far stretched. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think it's just just news circulating, just for news just to be circulating. But in my opinion, if that thought was actually real, if that thought that was actually in his head that he actually wanted to come back to Barcelona, is mostly to have Barcelona as a stepping stone to prepare himself for this next World Cup. Because even those rumors were coming or were thrown at Messi for when he was at PSG. Like he was just using PSG as a stepping stone to prepare for the 2022 World Cup. So it could be the same situation with Neymar, and that seems more likely to me considering that the World Cup is literally in a year's time. So again, I doubt that it would ever happen. I doubt Flick would make that kind of decision to be like, again, I saw the report that Laporta may be open to it, and it will mostly come down to Flick, but I don't think Flick would, hinder the squad like that. I think he would always, he wants to look into the future, wants to look at the future and the future of Barcelona and bring players who will be here and for the future, right? So I think he will look mostly, on the team that he's already playing with such a young squad too that he's already thinking about the future, right? He wants the players to develop and improve, and bringing a player like Neymar in, it's just not gonna do that. It's not gonna help this team like that. So I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it should happen either. And even if we got him like in a free, where he would like make little money, like it's hard to say, but no, I wouldn't. But yeah, that's my opinion on all this. I think that's why I think he's maybe might want to make a return to Barcelona. But again, let me know what you guys think down below. Would you guys want to see Neymar come back to Barcelona, come back to Europe in general, or do you think he should just stick it out at Santos and just prepare himself there for this next World Cup? Because we all want to see Neymar play in this last World Cup for sure, make it his last dance there. But last dance at Barcelona, I just don't see it, and I don't want it, to be honest. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Again, like, subscribe, favorite, hit the notification bell for every time we upload. Share to your friends. Again, leave some comments down below. I hope you enjoyed, and peace.